any readers in the audience? Anybody read any? It's a lost art. There's a book called The Maze Runner. You guys familiar? Maze Runner is a story of some young men who find themselves mysteriously dropped into a remote location. They arrive in this glade via elevator. Their memories have been wiped clean. They have no memory when they arrived, who they are, why they're there, how they got there. And they're surrounded by this massive maze. What does it all mean? Well, that's the story that we explore with The Maze Runner, a hugely successful book, part of a terrific trilogy of books, and now a feature film. I'd like to show you right now the trailer for The Maze Runner. I get the sense day two we're watching the footage from the audience. There he is now, James Dashner, everybody. The director of the film, Mr. Wes Ball. You know him from films like We're the Millers. Just won an MTV Movie Award, by the way. He plays Gally. Will Poulter, everybody. And he's on a little show called Teen Wolf. In fact, if I understand correctly, he is giving up BiteCon to be here with us today. He plays Thomas in the film Dylan O'Brien. We will be taking questions for these guys as well, but let me start off. James, what's it like to have your creation being made into a major motion picture like this? It must be kind of surreal.
Oh man, I don't even know what to say. It's I'm still on an emotional high after seeing that awesome trailer. It's surreal, it's exciting, and it's unbelievable how much they've matched my vision for the book.
Guys, were you fans of the book before you took on the film? Were you familiar with it?
I didn't know about it honestly until I got sent into the part, and then I then researched all about it and read it and loved it, and it would have been my favorite book as a kid, straight up, and that's what made me want to do it ultimately.
How about you, Will?
Yeah, 100%. I was in a similar position to Dylan, whereby I didn't find out about The Maze Runner as a book until I got into the part, but then I had the opportunity to read it, and what was so exciting was discovering what an amazing kind of group of fans there were for the book, and knowing that the film truly represents what they love and know in such a kind of honest light. So that's what's exciting for us, I think.
Wes, the fans for this trilogy of books is so intense and done.
Best fans ever.
Yeah. They love these books. Was that intimidating at all to take on this project? Because I'm sure you want to serve the fans and you want to make them happy, but at the same time you have to make your own movie too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was the best kind of pressure. I had people to please, the fans first. And then we just did the best we could to capture James's vision of this book and the spirit that he kind of put into that thing, and just make the best movie we could out of it. So I think we've done that.
Who's excited to see it?
Should we show them a little more? You want to?
Yeah!
Since they are excited, I think it's only fair.
Here's a little setup for you. So when I read the book, one of the more fascinating things about the world James created was the fact that this giant maze changes. And so when I was reading it, I had to see that maze change. And so I inserted a little scene into the movie that's not in the book. It follows a little adventure with Thomas and Mina when they go out in the maze, and their world changes.
The actors playing roles of characters that have no memories, that you're a blank slate when you show up on the scene. That has to be a unique kind of challenge with nothing to draw on memory-wise or anything to inform your characters, right?
Yeah, you don't have to do much background.
That's right.
It's a really cool thing to play. It's like a rebirth of these things that happen. What happens to every one of these characters in the movie. They wake up and they have no idea who they are, where they are. They don't even know their name. And as a person, we really I don't think we ever experience that unless we experience some traumatic, insanely traumatic experience like that. So I don't know. It's interesting to dive in and you realize who you are almost like along the way, and you see what your instincts are, and you see what's inside you, I guess. And for Thomas, it was courage. And that's what I love so much about him. That's all I got.
And Will, did you find the same thing? You had a chance to start from a blank slate with your character?
Yeah, I'm sort of with Dylan in that it's nice. It cuts down the research slightly. It cuts down your admin a little bit, which was never my strong point. But yeah, it's interesting. I think it's kind of one of the sort of fear factors in the film. The idea of not knowing. The unknown is certainly a scary element in this movie, and it's particularly scary when you contextualize it in this glade, that this manufactured environment that is totally alienating, and it's inhumane in so many ways, and that they are young kids, and there's a real sense of realism that comes from the performances, and I'm so proud to be part of this cast. It's an amazingly talented young cast, and Wes, allowed us an opportunity to really kind of explore our characters, and he was keen to put character at the forefront of the movie and really make, the emotional relationships the core of this film. And so all of that stuff, the memory loss, the notion that we might have families, somewhere, the notion that we must have come from somewhere at some point, all these, questions that you would naturally wrestle with are all in the movie, and it's a very real exploration of character above anything else. So that's exciting, and I think unique for this genre.
And if you guys have questions for these folks, feel free to line up at the microphone up there in the center.
Yeah.
We'll get to you in just a second, I promise. But I wanted to ask James real quick for folks who may not be familiar with the book. The premise, the concept is so unique and fresh and original. Tell us a little bit about the creation of that world, how it came to you and how you developed it, because I've never seen anything like it. It's really clever.
Well, thank you, first of all. It was heavily inspired by some books that I loved in high school. One was Lord of the Flies. Which, that inspiration is pretty obvious in the book when you read it. I also loved Ender's Game. Woo! And the concept of a teenage boy being sent to somewhere very strange, you can see that element. And then it was no accident that while I was writing this book, the TV show Lost was on, and that's one of my favorite shows of all time. And finally, just mazes have always creeped me out since the movie The Shining. And if you've ever been in a corn maze, that's some creepy stuff right there. So all that came together, and I wrote the book.
Wes, the maze itself becomes such a huge character in the film. How do you balance it so that we care about the characters and what they're going through in the shadow of this enormous, iconic maze that you also have to pay homage to?
Well, it's basically just put characters first, and it's all about their story, and the maze just serves as sort of the challenge that that they face to escaping. So it's really just the situation that is around them, and the character itself is just it's the thing that's keeping them, that's testing them, that's pushing them basically to on a character level to find out what they're really made of. So that's basically how I just approached it. Was it's one of the monsters in the movie, in addition to the Grievers, which you're not going to see for a while.
All right, let's take some questions from the audience. Hi there, what's your name and your question?
Hi, I'm Catherine. So sorry for my appearance. I'm Boy Dylan right now.
Oh my God. Nice.
Because I was at BiteCon, but I came over here just for you.
I'm sorry I wasn't there.
I know, but I was wondering, do you ever see like the differences and similarities between Styles and Thomas?
Yeah, there are two characters I play, so
That's one.
So there's one. It's me. Is the one thing.
Thomas is better
look the
looking
same.
than Styles.
Yeah, which one, huh? Who would you do? No, just. I was gonna not say that, and then I said it. Yeah, you think about that a lot as an actor. Obviously, you think about your different characters and what's, I see them very differently, and but I also know that there's things in myself that come out in my roles, that I can't necessarily control, and I don't want to. I embrace all that because that's how you make it real. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely not. Thomas is definitely a little more stoic, a little calmer, more introverted. He's quieter. Sort of a little more like me, I guess. And then Styles has, there's my goofy side. Is Styles basically.
Yeah, the style side was during off the camera, basically. That's when the style side came out of Dylan.
Yeah, turns on.
Hi there, what's your name and your question?
My name is Cass, and the difference is going from filming on television to this grand scale production. How different and intense was that for you?
That's a good question because there's a lot of differences as you'd imagine filming a movie and filming TV. Interestingly enough, that was interesting. It's interesting how similar this was actually to my experience on Teen Wolf. On Teen Wolf we have a lot of restrictions, and we always got to shoot really fast and don't necessarily have the luxury of time or a lot of money. And this was very much that same way in the movie world, and on that kind of scale, it was a smaller budgeted movie, and we had to make it big, I guess, and I mean, Wes made it look like a $100 million movie. It's not. It's amazing.
Yeah, we tried to squeeze out as much as we possibly could so that all the money we had was up on the screen. So it worked out. Yeah.
Hi there, what's your name and question?
Hi, Haven, or Jack, whichever you prefer. Dylan, just from watching Teen Wolf and seeing you evolve as an actor tremendously, and your Lloyd Styles scared the living crud out of me.
Thanks, man.
So thank you for letting us watch you evolve. My question is, can you talk about what it's like to work with Kia?
To work with him?
Kia for the lawyer.
Oh, gotcha. Kaya.
It's Kaya? Yeah, could you talk about what it's like to work with her?
You would love Kaya, man. She's amazing. Yeah, we all loved Kaya. She's the only girl in the movie, and hence the only girl with just a bunch of guys on the cast. It could be a little intimidating, and she handled it. She was like the perfect girl to have. Like, she was just what was her first? What did you say her first impression was? We were all playing some sport, and she showed up and.
Yeah,
the football at will.
we were all playing this dumb game where it literally just involved throwing sports equipment at each other, which I'm not endorsing, by the way. That you can't get injured doing that. I'm going to get in trouble with Fox, but it was throwing sports equipment with each other, and she comes through the door into the yard where we're playing, and she just catches the ball and throws it straight back. And I think she had a cigarette hanging. She looks so cool.
She's the coolest. She hadn't even met any of us yet, and she was just showing up. I don't know. She's
badass.
Yeah.
James, when you watch characters that you've lived with come to life on screen, how did you feel about the actors personifying those characters? Did they fulfill your imagination?
Well, I mean, it's hard to
talk about it when we're sat right next to you.
Yeah. It's really awkward with Will sitting so close and he's taller than me. No, it's hard for me to sound as genuine and sincere as I can because all I can do is tell the truth, and that is that I have been utterly thrilled with each casting decision. Each one of them just nailed it and matched my vision perfectly, and it was a real cool thing to be on set and to feel that family vibe and to see them I could not believe what good actors these guys were. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I was so shocked. Just kidding. No, I wasn't shocked at all. These guys were I think they are special, and I think in 20 years people will look back at this movie and say, hey, that's where a lot of their careers started. I hope. So.
Wes, when you were doing the casting process, what particular things were you looking for in the actors that you knew you needed to have?
Honesty, basically. It is true what James said. I mean, at the risk of sounding cheesy, I think our biggest special effect really is this emotional sort of performances that our cast gives. They all committed 110% on this thing, so that they really took it seriously, so that you really care for these guys and this journey that you're going on, and that makes everything else that much more fun. It was a dream come true working with everybody. I mean, they're all the nicest people ever. They're tremendously hardworking and really fun to be around. I mean, the cast really bonded together and had a really special relationship on and off the set that I think really shows up in the movie. So.
Hi there. What's your name and your question, please?
Hi, I'm Chanelli, and I was wondering for Dylan, what was it like going from movies like The Internship and The First Time, which have more of a comedic or romantic undertone, to going to The Maze Runner, which is full-on like action movie and is much more physically stimulating?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's great to be able to try different things as an actor, and having done those things before, and then getting to come and do something like this. I mean, I can't ask for anything more. And yeah, it's physically demanding, a lot more tiring than those other movies were, just because I didn't do nearly as much.
I'm sorry, Dylan.
It was we actually, funny enough, never even had me run during the audition. And me and Wes talk about this sometimes, because like I never ran during any one of the audition phases, and it was like,
Yeah, what if you showed up on set one day and said he's been
it's like, all right, get the double in and try to shoot around it. Luckily, though, I do look a little spaz.
This is good, bro. We used it.
It's perfect. Yeah, I don't look like a superhero.
I knew Dylan was a baseball guy, so I knew it would all work out.
Yeah. I just wore it. It was my baseball shirt that I wore. He was like, okay, he's got that. Yeah, let's get the acting thing going. I don't know. This was definitely the coolest all-around experience I've had so far. Just because how hard I had to work to accomplish it and everything that I've gotten to do that I haven't yet. So yeah.
So tell me we have time for just one more question. So
I'm so sorry.
Hi, I'm Melanie, and my question comes in two parts. So, in the book, Teresa and Thomas are able to communicate telepathically. Are we going to get to see that in the movie at all?
I'm sorry, no.
All right, never mind.
But I will say, for all you fans out there,
Wait, come back.
Relating to
for
that?
all the fans out there, it's slightly in there. If you look close, there's that concept is there, but it's a difficult thing to portray in a film. And there's other ways to dramatically carry that sort of connection, that character connection. We do that just visually rather than through them looking at each other and the voiceover going over. So
Yeah, I fully endorsed. I mean, every little change we had to make. If you've ever seen a movie with telepathy, it usually comes across as really cheesy. Sometimes something that works in a book just doesn't work on the big screen.
yeah.
And lastly, before I let you guys go, Will and Dylan, I don't think we can let Andy Serkis beat you guys out when it comes to social media. So I think you guys are going to have to take a selfie with the entire crowd behind you. How about that? We're glad to see you.
Are we allowed?
Let's bring up the lights. Yeah, let's bring up the lights and you guys do selfies with the crowd behind you. How about that? Yeah, with your phones.
It's okay, by the way. You guys good? Just do last checks, makeup, hair. Make sure you're all good. Brush your teeth if you need to. Hold up.
Everybody put your hands up. Here we go. Let's see you remember your WonderCon experience forever. There you go. Help me thank these guys, the cast and director of The Maze Runner.